fascinating couple of articles here that I'm going to cite to talk about Gen Z. Now, I've got 3 kids in Gen Z, and I'm really proud of my 2 older boys. Well, actually, it's horrible. I'm proud of my daughter Josie too. All 3 are working this summer. One's as a football camp counselor. The other one just texted me moments before I came on the show today that he got a job at a fast food restaurant. Did it all on his own. Applied, and so I'm proud of him. And then my daughter is babysitting and making crazy money. It's crazy what babysitters can make these days. It's extraordinary. And so I've got an article here that is from Business Insider, and it cites Susie Welch, who's a well-known professor at NYU. She's the former wife, the late Jack Welch, the legendary GE CEO. And so she has come on the scene, been on the scene for quite some time as it relates to management and business. And so she's quoted in this article, but she is commenting on a term that has taken off on TikTok, as just about anything does these days. And it's called fun employment, all one word. So fun, the word fun tacked onto employment. It's called fun employment. And it is a play on words, and it's the idea that when I get laid off or I get fired, it's a carefree, hey, I'm not worried about the next job. I'm going to have some fun. And obviously, we're seeing this a lot with Gen Z. The headline says Gen Z isn't afraid of unemployment. All right. And that they don't trust employers. So we're going to get into that. Okay. So Welch said this of Gen Z and this fun employment laissez-faire attitude. It's more of an attitude, she said, which is, okay, I'm not going to be the way your generation was about unemployment. I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to be frantic. I'm not going to lose my mind about it. If I'm unemployed, I'm unemployed. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to have a great life. And I'll go to my next job when I get my next job. But until then, I'm going to enjoy it. Now, immediately I scratch my head when I read this. But there's a reason why. And by the way, it's very important to point out, this is not the case for all Gen Z. And certainly not the case for everybody. More on that in a second. But there is a story here in the next article that I've got to cite. Delia Pena was laid off from her data entry job in late March. And when she was laid off, she didn't freak out. She began to think about all the things she wanted to accomplish this summer. One was a road trip across the South with her teenage niece. Little Thelma and Louise, I guess. All right. Finishing the epoxy collage she's been working on for weeks. I don't know what any of that means. No idea what an epoxy collage is, but sure, sounds very artistic, great. And then wrapping up the second season of a podcast that she hosts. And lots of yoga. So this is her list of things she wants to accomplish this summer that are of higher priority than getting a job. So you naturally say, wait a second, how can she do this? Well, the rest of the story that you don't get when you read headlines. The rest of the story is she's making money delivering for DoorDash, and she's ghostwriting some blogs. So this idea that they're not working, that's not true. She is working. So honestly, I don't know why media outlets promote stories like this that say things like this, because she has a job. So what this is saying is she's not moving from specific career path or the next stage of the ladder. What she is doing is working gig jobs, and this is called the gig economy. So for instance, I'm going to drive Uber for a certain amount of hours. I'm going to deliver DoorDash. You know, it's essentially part-time jobs. We got a new term for everything these days, but it's a part-time job. Now, what's really going on for the Gen Z people that are cited in this article is that they're being supported by someone else. or they've got part-time jobs. And so it's either or, sometimes both and. They don't have a lot of expenses. They've got money saved up, maybe because they're living with their mom and dad. I don't know what the situation is. But they don't need a full-time job. So this fun employment term, if you see it on TikTok and your kids start talking about it, I just want to tell you folks, this is fantasy land. It's another fun term, but very few people can do it. I mean, most people, based on the data, folks, not my opinion, are living paycheck to paycheck. So if they're living paycheck to paycheck and they get laid off, this fun employment thing is a fantasy. So these are young people who, again, have the financial ability, or shall we call it financial flexibility, to do something else and to take their time. And while I'm going to do this all summer, and I'm going to take my time. But as is cited in the article where Susie Welch talks about this Gen Z generation is more focused on work-life balance. What's funny to me is they don't have any experience of being out of balance. It's not like they've worked for 10 years and they know what it's like to work 50, 60 hours a week. What this is about is they've seen their parents gripe, burn out. And as a result, they go, I don't want that. I don't want to be like my mom and dad. And so they're going, okay, I'm going to figure this out. The second thing that's going on is this generation is very driven by values, which is good. They want to do work that is in alignment with what they believe. Now, at the core of that, that's good. But it can also be unrealistic, meaning that if the company CEO says something that's not politically aligned, or the company doesn't step into a social issue and donate money or drive activism, they get offended pretty quickly, or they can go, you know what? I want to go over here. So what's interesting how this will all shake out is what are the opportunities for them as they try to live and work this way over the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be very interesting to see. We'll keep track of it and we'll let you know how it goes.